Maxine here from Absolute Collagen, and today I am super excited because I have been joined by Dr. Louise Wiseman. Hi.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes.
It's lovely, really lovely, Maxine, to talk to you.
Oh, so lovely to talk to you. And I have been so enjoying your book. Can you see all the little sort of post-it notes? Honestly, it is so amazing. So the book is called Your Best Life. And Louise, what inspired you to write the book? You're a doctor, aren't you? Obviously.
Yes. I was a GP and I took a bit of a career break when my children were little after being ill, and then I wanted to get back into medicine, and I did this book over 3 years of research, and I basically was looking at what real women need to know. So there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet. You and I both know.
Yes.
Some of it is not plausible, some of it's great, but as a woman myself, I wanted to try and find out how to age better and what would help me, and all my friends were constantly asking me things. So I thought, how am I going to put this all together into something proper? So the book was the academic part of writing about health from top to toe, but really in a very sort of everyday way for normal women. But then I wanted to make it a bit more interesting and not just be about me and my experience. So I interviewed at least 45 women who you've read about probably in the book. And then I needed to make sure it was really up to date and that the information would be accurate and would last for quite a few years from now. So I went to all the specialists that I knew when I was a GP, and thankfully they all said yes, they'd help me. And so I worked with them to find out all the up-to-date information. And then I went to sort of further afield to dentists, dental hygienists, orthodontists, acupuncturists, Chinese medicine specialists, all much more spiritual and holistic things as well. So I was kind of giving a broad view, which is basically how my mind works, all the things I was interested in. So it was really for myself to find the answers, but I knew I had so much to give to women of what I already knew, but that I could take it further. So that's kind of a short story of
and I'm really enjoying the book. And you saying you wanted to help women understand how their bodies work, and that's what the book does. And I must say, when I first got it, I was like, whoa, it's a very thick book, and it's going to take me a long time to read this. But you don't have to do that. I mean, I did start at the beginning because I think, you know, what you say in the beginning is very interesting, and you say, I want to provoke you to think about yourself differently.
Yeah.
And you want to help women to understand their bodies. And the book is a journey, you say, through your body. And it really feels like that. Honestly, it really does.
Yeah.
And you can just pick it up and go to certain sections. But I did read it from the beginning, and I actually think all women should read it. And there's so much in there. Some might not relate to you, and some might relate to you. And there's a paragraph in there, you say, aging is out of your control, but how you handle it is in your own hands, which was Diane von Fossenberg.
Yeah, that's right.
And for me, that was the remit of the whole book. And you give us the tools and you give us the choice.
Yeah.
And you do have a choice, don't you? And that's what you say in the book.
I think that what's really frightening, and especially at the moment in COVID, is we feel out of control so much. And I think if you go back to times before COVID, when women are going through menopause and they're not worrying about anything else, maybe they might feel out of control. But then you add in their to-do list, their children, their parents, their work, their home. Everything is sort of bombarding you in those decades. And I wanted to look at how you could possibly alter that by what you did every day. So that was partly the reason why I interviewed so many women who seemed to have it all and seemed to be fit and successful. And I'm not talking just monetary, I'm talking about just in life and happiness. Because I wanted to see if they were doing something different. And a lot of them were. They'd gone through times when they weren't so fit or healthy and had learnt you have to look after yourself. And yet they were achieving all these great things. But for most of them, eating well and having some kind of exercise, not necessarily being a saint, but doing those things seeing their friends, all of that was really important to them. I wouldn't have ever thought I'd come off the conveyor belt of medicine and I'd have the guts to do this.
Yeah.
But I still look at it and I think, I'm not quite sure how I did this, but I did do it, and I was terrified, even to the last minute when I had the first book in my hand. I didn't believe that I could do it. I've been so worried about what people would think of it, but then I thought, it's just me. I've given it my best, just like you do with your business. And so many women have to put themselves out there, put their head above the parapet, and people do respond to it.
I think so. And you touched on something then with fear. So I also get lots of emails and lots of messages, or I'm starting a business, I'm really scared, or I just want to leave my husband, I don't know how to do it, or should I? And hey, I'm no guru by any means, but I always say to people, fear's okay. It's okay to feel fear. And I think women on the whole are incredibly humble. We just get on with the job in hand. We don't expect anything. We just get on. We create a list and we work through that list and we get on with it. And for my own journey, I started Absolute Collagen at 50. I went under the radar for 2 years because I was just getting on with the job in hand. And then suddenly everybody's looking at me going, whoa. And I'm like, oh my God, why are all these people looking at me? And I think women, we do need to shout a bit more. And one thing I am so passionate about, our team of absolutists, as they call themselves, and I feel like they're a movement of women that really own who they are. They own the age they're in, they own the skin they're in. For me, I think it's about never losing sight of who you are. And what I'm hearing from you is the fact your journey's been quite organic. Yeah. And so is mine, and nothing's been forced, and that's so important. Pick women that inspire me. Another lady in your book is Caroline Neville from CW. Yeah. Oh my God, MBE. That woman is... I just adore that woman. She was my very first contact in the beauty industry, and she was so nice. I was so shocked about how nice that group of women are.
I was amazed when I wrote to her how enthusiastic about my project she was, and how she just gave it her all to tell her story. I think that for all the women who listen or read anything that we've done and they think, oh, it's fine for them because they're all sorted. Nobody's sorted.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone is doubting everything every day. There are things I could tell you about producing this book. It is not like it looks. Nothing is easy.
No. Nothing. You're right. Nothing is easy. And when I look back in my journey with Absolute Collagen, and I never created Absolute Collagen because I wanted a business. I created Absolute Collagen because I stumbled across a product that actually worked, and I was boiling up, chicken feet and pig's trotters in my kitchen, and I just wanted to bring it to as many people as possible. Darcy, both my children work with me, and I just feel so blessed. It's unbelievable. Darcy practically runs the company now, and Marga does all the creatives, and I just feel like I'm really blessed. Oh my God. And they probably don't think they're quite as blessed working with me. But going back to children, it's amazing. So if anybody tells me what to do, I will look at them and question. My children say, Maxine, I'm like, what? They're the only people in the world I listen to. It's amazing. And they both call me Maxine. They have done... So nothing to do with the business. They have done. I think Margot started when she was about 13. And I think it's quite endearing, to be honest. I quite like it. But they're my reason, and that might sound really crass, but they are my reason for everything.
Well, you can read the beginning of my book when I was ill and I couldn't hold the children for a week. And,
that was absolutely awful. You had pneumonia, didn't you?
Yeah, and it was. I wrote it. So I wrote it quite a few years after it had happened to me. But honestly, I wasn't the type of person who didn't appreciate, their children and their life. They were my life always. I hated being away from them when I was away for. I didn't see them from Sunday night till Wednesday morning when I was a GP. I was only half time, but that time I found that really difficult after I was ill. And I want them to see that a woman can do everything at home as well. My husband is very practical, so we do it between us, but a lot of the time I'm the one with them. I want them to see that you can do that and you can have something else going on. It's been important to me and surprising how they've responded to it. There are so
Awesome.
many women who change careers or who do something or do a new hobby or anything that then becomes a business. And I think that you're just a classic example. And I wish that I'd known you before, Maxine, because you would have been one of the full interviews in my book, not just having a couple of paragraphs, because I sought you out. My friend was taking Absolute Collagen. I was very cynical. I knew I had to write about it in the book. I sought the advice of the top journalist, Alice Hart Davis, because she was writing about it in her own book at the time.
Who takes Absolute Collagen as well.
Yeah, and I worked with my dermatology friend, Dr Hextall, and I looked at all the research, and then I was convinced. And then I came to find you to find out more about it. The fact that your product doesn't have a load of other stuff that could potentially be harmful.
Mm-hmm.
There are some collagens that have other chemicals beyond, I'm not talking about the vitamin C you have that helps, but other things in it, and we don't know the long-term effects, whereas we've got quite a lot of data about collagen. You are one of the only, there's only about 4 brands of things in the book, unless they're charity things, and you were there because of your story.
Oh, that's so lovely.
But at the same time, then, you know, I was researching the product, so it went really well. So it was an honour to have you in the book. And I think women should feel that it's not giving up to change.
Absolutely not.
It's very difficult financially to make the decision. You need to be planned and you need to be supported or whatever you're going to do. But if you have an opportunity to make a change and you're unhappy, try and work out how you could do it. So people have been very kind, and female support is important, and I don't think that women all compete with each other. I think just like we would be to each other, we admire what each other have done and would always support each other. And I think unless you actually put yourself out there, you're not going to find that out.
I totally agree, and I definitely, every stage of my career, as they call it, it started at 50, asked for help. I put my hand up every single time. I phoned food standards and said, hey, I want to do this. I don't want to kill people. Please help me. And I think that's very much a female thing. I think females are able.
The directions.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And, you know, you say about friends and support, and I think something that does, again, come with age is, you know, I have very few friends. The friends I have, I just adore. And they will tell me exactly as it is, with love.
I know, and your friends can be brutally honest, can't they? My friends obviously saw me as a GP, and then they saw me ill, and then back to work, and then mum at home, and then with this mad idea. And my really good friends totally got it, and they never doubted that I could do this book, and I honestly didn't think I could do it until like the last 6 months before it came out. And I had that from my family as well. There was never any doubt from them, not the doubt that I had.
And tell me, where can people get your book?
Well, at the moment you can get it everywhere, although it's sold out. The Waterstones and Smiths have sold out their supply, because what's happening is diverting it all to selling it eventually through my publisher. So if they go on my website, louisewiseman.co.uk, there are links there to click on it to the paperback, which is through Troubadour, my publisher. But there's also links to the ebooks, so the electronic version, so the Kindle, Google, Apple. And if there's American women listening to this, I don't know if you export Absolute to American. It's just gone live on the Barnes & Noble site for the Nook, which is another electronic device. And I'm also sorting getting paperbacks out to America at the moment.
When we started the conversation, you were talking about when you had pneumonia, you couldn't hold your children. And a lot of people might have experienced that with the COVID situation. They can't...
Yeah.
That must be horrendous.
Well, I knew I was ill, but I thought I just had the flu, so I just stayed away for a couple of days at home. But then, obviously, once I was in hospital, I didn't see them. I couldn't have them come in, and that was just so difficult because my daughter was too young. So we just have to give ourselves every chance of staying well and to keep ourselves well for the future. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be perfect. You can, live your life, but just be aware of some basic building blocks of what you can do. And I just want to inspire women to do that, really.
And that's what you've done in the book. I mean, there's no preaching, there's no, oh, you must do this. You've just given us choices in a really understandable way, I may say, because some books are quite scientific, and I just think, oh my God, I can't understand that. I have to read it 3 or 4 times. Yeah. But I love your book. I really, so honestly, I really do. And well done, you. And
thank you.
Yeah, wonderful.
Well done to you too.
Oh, yes, well done to us. Your best life, Dr. Wiseman, and it's been an absolute pleasure as always. You look incredible.
To talk to you too, Maxine. Oh. Lovely to talk to you always.
Well, have a super rest of your day, and it's been lovely to chat to you.
Thank you, Maxine.
Bye-bye.
Bye.